Eala Bryan Bagunas picked as flag bearers in Bangkok SEAG. Tennis sensation Eala and volleyball pillar Bryan Bagunas will be the country's flag bearers in the 33rd SEAG Games in Thailand. Philippine Olympic Committee, POC. President Abraham Bambol Tolentino picked the two of the most recognizable and influential athletes in 2025 to lead the parade of athletes of the biennial meet to be held this month. Popularity aside, Eala and Bryan have made impacts in the global sports community, and that makes them the best choice to carry the flag in the SEAG Games, Tolentino said in a news release on Tuesday. He said the Philippines has been assigned a 300-member delegation, which could possibly be trimmed to 200 because of the year-long mourning for Queen Sirikit and the Songkla disaster during the march around the Rajamangala National Stadium in the opening ceremony. The Philippines is fielding nearly 1,700 athletes in the SEAG Games that programmed 574 events in 50 sports, and which will now be played in two main hubs, Bangkok and Chonburi, after Songkla was written off because of massive flooding. The rise of Eala in tennis has been close to phenomenal. She's now the highest-ranked Filipina in Philippine tennis history in the Women's Tennis Association, having been the first Filipina to get past the first round of the U.S. Open. Bagunas, on the other hand, was the main man of the Alas Pilipinas men's team in the FIV World Championship last September, spearheading a historic victory over many-time African champion Egypt in FIV competition, and was instrumental in that, when that got away, against another Asian powerhouse, Iran. Tolentino said that the choice for flag bearer or flag bearers has always been an important task of the POC, and athlete or athletes who have the most impact and inspirational appeal not only to national athletes, but to the Filipino youth gained the most premium in the selection. It's about the inspirational appeal, the motivation, and hard work that reaps accomplishment that make an athlete or athletes the best choice for the chore, he said. The air in Bangkok shimmered with the heat of late afternoon, the kind that softened the edges of buildings and turned the city's noise into a warm, buzzing chorus. Vendors along the streets near Rajamangala Stadium fanned themselves as tourists, some wearing their country's colors like armor, streamed past in a river of cheerful motion. The Southeast Asian Games were back, and the city crackled with anticipation. Inside the Philippine delegation's quarters, quiet excitement simmered beneath the surface. Athletes in red, blue, yellow, and white hurried from room to room, some stretching, some laughing, some lost in their own clouds of focus. But amid the bustle, a small pocket of calm had formed around two people. One of them was Eala, young, quick-smiled, and carrying herself with the poise of someone who had seen more arenas than birthdays. She sat alone at a practice court, her racket resting lightly in her hand, tapping against her knee in a rhythm that was half nervous, half absent-minded. The tennis balls scattered around her gleamed like tiny suns under the setting light. The other was Bryan Bagunas, towering, powerful, his presence filling a room even when he wasn't trying to. He was in the athlete's lounge, quietly tying the laces of his volleyball shoes, repeating the gesture as though it helped him think. His teammates joked nearby, but Bryan's mind was elsewhere, spiraling through memories of years spent carrying the weight of expectations. A knock sounded at the door of each of them, almost as if choreographed, and moments later, the news reached them at the same time. They had been chosen as the flag bearers of the Philippines for the Bangkok SEAG Games opening ceremony. Alex, a rising star with a nation in her grip. Alex stared at the official who delivered the news, her heartbeat suddenly as loud as the echo of a tennis ball hitting the baseline. Me, she asked, her voice a soft contradiction to the roaring excitement inside her. The flag bearer? The official nodded with a warm smile. You've earned it. You're not just an athlete now, you're an emblem of hope. Hope. It was a word she'd heard before, but it felt heavier spoken this way. She thought of the mornings when she woke before sunrise, sweat already forming at the back of her neck before she even stepped onto the court. The early struggles, the victories far from home, the heartbreaks that shaped the spine of her discipline. Every step suddenly connected to this single honor. She ran her fingers along the smooth surface of her racket. For the country, she thought. For the people who believed before I even learned to believe in myself. Her phone buzzed. A message from her parents flashed on the screen. We're proud of you. Bring the flag high, Anik. Alex felt her throat tighten. She whispered into the empty court, I'll carry it as high as I can. To Bryan, the giant who rose from small beginnings. Bryan had always been known for his power, his spikes, his height, his fearlessness on the court. But when the words flag bearer reached him, his first reaction wasn't pride. It was disbelief. Coach Bakit AKO? He asked quietly, rising slowly to his full height, as though the responsibility itself added inches to him. There are so many great athletes here. Coach grinned. Exactly. And you're one of them. But Bryan remembered a different boy, a younger version of himself, practicing in a dusty gym on cracked cement floors, wearing shoes worn thin from training sessions longer than any child should have endured. He remembered doubting himself more times than he liked to admit, dreaming of moments like this, but never quite daring to imagine they'd come true. Now he was standing here, chosen to carry the weight of the flag, a different kind of spike, straight to the heart,